Right, it's Thursday night, but we are still war. We are resilient. I'm with Michael Geary, Army National Guard veteran and founder and executive director of Hellfish Haven. I'm Travis, Marine Corps veteran and host of Oscar Mike Radio. And together we are resilient. Trying this out tonight, we got to thinking this might work out, and we're going to do Thursday at 7 p.m. because right after is Oscar Mike Radio, and this is kind of cool. This is like jazzing up. So we're going to do a half hour night because we got all kind of mixed up last night. Good old commuter rail trains, and we're going to talk about. I'm going to see if I can share my screen, Mikey.
A whole bunch of stuff to talk about this evening.
Yeah. Let's see here. No.
Go ahead, Jose. Back up on the bed, buddy. You want to stay down your knee? Want to say hi to everybody? Come on.
Oh. Hello. There we go. Look at this. The Vernon Hill American Legion Riders, Chapter 435, are doing a Lego ride this Sunday. Registration's at 9:30 a.m. Kickstand up at 11:30 a.m. and they have fun and food until 4 p.m. You bring a new and unwrapped Lego set or $20 per person. The ride starts at Walmart, 25 Tobias Boland Way in Worcester, Massachusetts. And the ride ends at the Vernon Hill American Legion Post 435, 297 Providence Street in Worcester, Mass. I'm going to get the Facebook link here in a second and pop that in the chat. But, this is a ride they've been doing for a couple of years now. And this is they're all getting excited about this. This is pretty cool because they ride Mike down through this hospital for kids. So it's really cool how they're doing this. Let me see if I can pull up the URL and pop that into the chat there.
Issues. Let me get Wi-Fi real quick.
Okay, all right. Let me find. How about now?
Do I look better? Do I sound better?
Oh, I mean, you look fantastic, dude.
Excellent. I shaved just for this.
Oh, all right.
I don't want to look like a crumb bum. I mean, I already got the neck collar. I'm looking like, I'm chasing ambulances now.
Oh, shit. Oh, they're not that bad, man. Vernon Hill.
You turn up the Facebook page now?
Yep. Here we go. All right.
I find sometimes it's easier to navigate a Facebook page than some of these websites for these organizations.
I mean, not for nothing, man. You're not exactly wrong. It can be something else, whereas Facebook, for all you can love it or hate it, is good. And there is Mikey Saunders checking in. Hello, Mike. He says he wants Legos. Well, who doesn't want Legos?
Legos are probably the best thing until you step on one.
Oh yeah. Well, you got kids.
And then you probably wonder how much pain can come from such a tiny object.
So here's that. Jim from New Jersey checking in. Thank you, Jim. I'm going to take back my screen here in a second. So before we get to the Pact Act, I mean, one thing someone asked me, Mike, is, do these motorcycle rides and runs and, this and that actually make a difference for organizations? Is it really impactful, or is it just a lot of rah stuff that doesn't do anything? And I'm like, well, it's what you make of it, right? I mean, you can go to a motorcycle run and meet other, people that are like you, and they're veterans. You can talk about certain things. You can learn about the org right up front, kind of ask where your money's going, and do it from there. That's the
And
good thing.
a lot of them will have like get together afterwards, whether it be a cookout or they're having some sort of function afterwards. Is the big part of it where you get that camaraderie and you get to spend that time with like-minded individuals and fellow veterans.
Well, that's important, right? I mean, it really is.
I know for like me, like we're going to be setting up a table and a tent at the Specialist Matthew Pelini, the 13th annual motorcycle run that they have over in Taunton. It goes out of the 772 military police company where Matt was a part of when he deployed to Iraq. And they do that event there every year. And, it's a large turnout. You get the National Guard comes out and they bring out the big inflatable things for the kids to, climb up and go over. And like it's a big event that's it's for the whole family. It's not just for the vets, for military, but you can bring the kids, you can bring the wife, the girlfriend, and there's something for everybody around. Like the police usually do like a show with like the canines, and they'll have somebody in the bite suit, and they'll send the canines after them. It's always pretty funny to watch.
Well, I mean, it gets people together. People like motorcycles. Gets you out of your house. Even if you don't ride, you can go down there, and like you said, after the ride or even before the ride, sometimes they'll have breakfast. After the ride, they'll have like a band show up, and some food and beverage. Some raffles that are really cool. And at the very least, you can socialize and kind of get out of your little hidey hole and figure out what people are about. But on the other hand, you can sometimes, a lot of times, contact that person who's head of the organization and talk to them directly right there. So, I get it. Some people are like, oh my God, here's another motorcycle ride. And, got to, hear them all come through my neighborhood on a Sunday, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, up here, people don't realize the summer riding season is really short. And so you got to get it all in. And I don't know about you, Mike, everybody is cramming everything into August. Like, there's like 2 rides going on for Saturday and Sunday, and so you can literally get out of one and go the other. It's something else.
I don't know if it's people wind up going on vacation the first 2 months of the summer, and they figure people coming back and get ready to go back to school, so they're around for August. That's why they put the events in August. But it just seems to be a better turnout for events that are in August versus June and July.
Let's see here. What are we going to do?
Because we've got a few little promotional items for August.
So, folks, we're trying this out. Wednesday nights for both of us sometimes get really hairy trying to figure stuff out. It's just, Mike and I are pretty good at being in 2 places at one time, but 3 really makes things confusing. So,
You got to take off my socks and start counting.
we are trying this out because, again, right after this is Oscar Mike Radio. I have on tonight a guest from the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. It's kind of like the Postal Service Police Department, talking about Operation Protect Vet and what they do there. So that's going to be good. And Mike, do you have anything else that's coming up you want to highlight before we go into the Pact Act?
Just at the end, we'll just go through the events real quick.
Sure.
That are coming up, and I've been I'm starting streaming on Friday nights on Twitch and on Facebook. Last Friday night, me and the wife played Mario Kart, to which she was beating me so bad I had to stop the game mid race and restart.
Your wife beat you?
Yes, and beat me very badly. She was like in first place, I was in ninth, and I was like, there's just no recovering from this. So I was like, I gotta start over. And it was the 4 Cup series, and she's like, really? You're restarting it? I was like, yep.
Your wives will surprise you sometimes, Mike. They might not be playing all the time, or maybe they play when we're gone. But then you put a controller in their hand, tell them, "Hey, you got to beat your husband." They take it up a couple notches. It's really something else.
Absolutely. And like for me, like I was like, like Mario Kart, I got this. I've been playing this for years. I've played it on N64. Took it over to the Wii, took it over to on the Switch, and I'm like, I got this. And she's like, just picks it up, and she's like, do, no problem, just throwing red shells at me, knocking me out, and I'm like, unbelievable. It's like just a hidden talent that I didn't know she had.
Hey, man, just real quick, we've got Command Sergeant Major retired Barry Smallwood from Georgia, I believe, checking in with us tonight. Yeah, Sergeant Major, how you doing? Uh,
Welcome, welcome.
yeah, he's does some cool stuff. I learned a lot. He's coming up on my show early September, I believe, and if I, it's becoming a blur now. But Sergeant Major Smallwood, thanks for checking in. Yeah, we're doing all right. Mike is on the mend, and I'm a little bit further on the mend. So we're here. We're happy. We are resilient. We are war.
Heck
So
yeah.
that's good. So you got the IW. I see the IW logo behind you, Mike. Can you talk about that real quick before we go in the
Yep.
Pact Act?
So there's gonna be another Silky hike coming up. It's gonna be in Worcester. Uh, so these Silky hikes are really fun. I've gone on two of them so far, and the first one I did in Boston. The second one we went down to Mohegan, and it's just basically 200 to 300 vets and veteran supporters that get together and wear ridiculous short shorts. I mean, you yourself, were a Marine, so these are issued to you. Guys like me just wish that we could have
You're
that issued.
jealous.
We are absolutely. So we have to buy some knockoffs and throw them on while we go out there and you know get the get everything set up and throw the boots on and then walk through towns and just basically they have stops set up where you can chat with everybody and like as you walk you meet new people and it's just another time to like the motorcycle runs you get out there you're not isolating you're talking with like-minded people and it's another event that's out there as part of suicide prevention and it's part of checking on people's mental health and making sure that that's just as important as the physical health. And Irreverent Warriors has been a great organization to do that. And the IW Boston folks are on Facebook, and they'll be hosting this event that's in Worcester on Saturday, the 30th of September.
Nice, nice. Um, so we're just doing a half hour night, folks, because we're trying this out. Right now, I think this is going to work out great. It was just I got done with work, I went and did my training, came back, shoveled some food down. We're ready to go. We're doing this. This is just set. I'd be here anyway, getting OMR prepped. Fantastic. Um, really great to be able to connect with people. Um, like the Veterans Collaborative, Mike. I'm starting to get plugged into that and figure out how Slack works. So let's take the rest of the time we have tonight and talk about the Pact Act. Um, I don't know about you, Mike, but there's a lot of veterans that aren't really sure what this all is, what it means. Does it affect Vietnam era vets? Does it affect Gulf War vets? Does it affect vets from Afghanistan and Iraq? And then, the big news bombshell is the VA announced today that you have until um, Monday at 11:59 to do your intent to file. So,
And that's huge. That's just the intent to file. You don't have to file your entire claim. You just have to put in the paperwork that says, I intend to file a claim for something that falls within the purview of the Pact Act.
so would you kind of go into what the PACT Act is and then who it affects, and then kind of just recap that? I'm going to drop a link for a public service announcement I did for the VA. And you can click on that and get more information and links right there. Mike says, Mike, what does 21-22 mean? I don't know what that means, bro.
The 21st and 22nd, maybe?
We'll see. Maybe I'm just dense here, but yeah, if you just kind of take it away for a couple minutes, Mike, and talk about what the Pact Act is and what we should do, I'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, everything started with us, the guys coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and they had what was the burn pit registry. And so the burn pit registry was all that was out there. It was kind of similar to, when folks came back from Vietnam, they had, Agent Orange registry and things like that, but they weren't giving benefits for those who were affected by the toxins and the environmental hazards of, Agent Orange and things like that. And so uh, one of the guys that was helping out was, John Stewart was, really rallying for this, the DAV, the VFW, the American Legion, all the national veteran service organizations were really pushing. And so the Pact Act is a law that expands on VA healthcare and benefits for veterans exposed to burn pits, Agent Orange, and other toxic substances. And so, like, with that, they instead of like saying like, all right, you were in this area and you were exposed to this, you might have this issue because of it. They're now saying nope. If you were in this area, you were exposed, and you have this illness, or or you passed away from an illness, they're going to go ahead and award it to you, automatically, saying that it's presumed that you got it because of this environmental hazard or this toxic exposure. And so, like, you can go on to the VA's website, va.gov, resources, Pact Act, and they put the link in there too.
Yeah, put the link in there, drop the link in there above Jeremy Daniels. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
va.gov resources, the Pact Act, and your VA benefits. And it will have all the resources right there. So you can check that out. And then
So, like,
also,
a whole bunch of cancers got added to it for like post 9/11 and Gulf War veterans. So, like, these cancers are now presumptive: brain cancer, gastrointestinal cancer, glioblastoma, head cancer of any time, kidney cancer, lymphoma of any time, melanoma, neck cancer, pancreatic cancer, reproductive cancer, respiratory cancer of any type, breathing related. And these illnesses are now presumptive too: asthma that was diagnosed after the service, chronic bronchitis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, chronic rhinitis, chronic sinusitis, constructive bronchiolitis or obstructive bronchiolitis, emphysema, granulomatous disease, instill ILD, pleuris, pulmonary fibrosis, and sarcoidosis. And like those are all like, and there's other hazardous materials that make you eligible for other care and benefits. But if you were basically exposed to any of these issues, or if you were in an area that these burn pits were releasing these toxins, and you now have any of these issues, all you need to do is either find a VSO to help you file a claim, or go on to va.gov, click the link into intent to file, click that you intend to file, and then say you're filing because of the Pact Act and because of the presumptive case, because you have X, Y, or Z. And not only will you start getting that being activated, the day you file, like you normally would, it goes back a year. So you're
that's the
retroactively
thing, right?
getting this back a year from when this was first released last August. And so your date of eligibility and your date of payments would start, you know, last August, or, September 1st for the first payment.
Yeah, that's the thing. I get asked a lot, why is this so important right now? And I'm like, because if you do the intent to file, it backdates to 2022 when the Pact Act became law. So if you file after August 15th, it's just for that day. And it might not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but a year's potential, coverage and benefits could be huge if you're in a bad spot because of what you suffered because of your exposure to burn pits, and
And
talk.
even like Vietnam era veterans, with Agent Orange, now they're presumptive conditions for high blood pressure and for MGUS, uh, type 2 diabetes, and other illnesses now are on there, added to it. And there's areas that previously there weren't considered Agent Orange being exposed to, and now they are. Laos, Cambodia, Guam, and ships that went into certain areas now are eligible where previously they weren't. So it's very important that if you served during any of these time periods, that you go and you check out the Pact Act website, and you see the criteria. If you meet it, and you have it, go on there, click that and send to file, and then either contact a representative to help you, whether it's a local VSO that works in the town, like here in Massachusetts that we have, whether it's a national veteran service organization, like the VFW, the Legions, uh, the PA, Paralyzed Veterans of America, Disabled American Veterans, any of these organizations can help you out. Hellfish Haven, we can help you out, and like we can get you guys set up and put you on there, because it's just so important. Like, not often does the VA offer you this year backdating, and
No,
depending
no.
on what percentage you do get awarded, if you get awarded 10%, that's $140 a month, times 12 automatically, and just as it goes up, it's more and more. And this could help guys, like you said, if you're in a pinch right now, this could be something that really does help you out.
Well, it's just really good to see the VA taking, you know, like the VA is a punching bag for a lot of vets, and sometimes, you know, what happens is, they earned it right. But I would tell anybody, like, this is huge what they're trying to do. I mean, they reached out to me to do a PSA. I popped that link in the chat. You can check that out. The extension, Mike, is huge. I've never seen the VA give an extension on anything. If you miss that cutoff date, you're done.
Yep. And like it's true. Like, even like when you you file, and things like they ask you to go to a doctor's appointment and things like that. If you miss doctor's appointments and things like that, you can get reset, and then all of a sudden you have to refile. And now, instead of your original date being the day you filed originally, now you've got a different date that you're starting at. And things like that are important, because there are rules in the VA. You've got your 5 year, your 10 year, and your 20 year rules in the VA, that if you have an illness or injury for X amount of time and it stays the same, the VA will stop requesting that you get evaluated on it, and they'll award it permanently, because they have different types of awards for these injuries and illnesses, whether it's a temporary or whether it's a permanent total. And so those also play into it, where you'll already have a year of that started by just putting an intent to file in now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if I have the links. You can reach out to Mike and get some information about this. If you feel you need to, reach out and get the intent to file going, let us know. But take advantage of this. It's not often the VA does this. And Mike Saunders is right. Sometimes they really suck at executing, but sometimes it seems like they're trying to get it right. And I don't know about you, Mike, but now that they've got a program in place, they're trying their best to get this right this time. I think it's a lot different than the Agent Orange from Vietnam and other things, the Gulf War illness, so on and so forth.
And even the guys that were at Camp Lejeune with the water down there, if you were a Marine, stationed at Lejeune, like, that's something that you need to look at, the dates you were stationed there. And I know that's one thing that my buddy's dad has had a real hard time dealing with, is the showing that he was stationed there before he went to Vietnam. And he's had a hard time showing that, and with the cancers that he's had, coming back from that, he's had to actually get attorney representation to to fight the VA, and to show where he was, and when he was there.
All right, all right, all right. So, going forward, we are going to do war 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before Oscar Mike Radio. We're just doing a couple more minutes to kind of dial this in, but I think I'm like this would work out great because of a lot of variables on both of our sides, and it's just you know what, it's just I'm going to be here anyway. We'll just we'll stack up, Michael. We'll stack up, double stack, and go in and do this thing. All things blazing. So
Thank you. And did you get the couple of flyers I sent you to?
let me see here. I'll pop
I
those up
sent you
before we leave.
a couple flyers there on the Facebook Messenger. I know the GAV Chapter 3 has the a Pact Act, explanation and benefits. Like a little on benefit night where they're gonna have speakers come and talk about the Pact Act and what's going on with it, as well as a few other organizations that'll come and share what's going on over in West Roxbury.
So you can see that up there. To Mike's point, August 24th, 6 to 8 p.m. They're going to have a info session, right? Info
Yep,
social. Info
absolutely.
social at the Elks Lodge in West Roxbury. That's nice. Numbers down here below. If you want some more information, let us know. We'll get it to you. And
Yep.
then to your point, Mike. Oh nope. What happened there? Vets Off Grid. What's this?
So these guys are hosting an event that will be basically taking vets and just going off the reservation. Not being in the city or in a small town. You're gonna go out and go camping and just enjoy nature for what it is. And this organization did the same thing last year, and they've always had a good turnout for it. So if you're available, make sure you go on these guys' Facebook page. That's where they're most active, and shoot them a message. They've also got their contact information in the middle there. I'll be posting these again on the Hellfish Haven Facebook page and other resources that Hellfish Haven has.
Okay, and the last one, just again before we adjourn for the night, is the Silkies hike. If you just go over that again, Mike's asking about Veterans Fairs, no problem.
Yeah, and then just the special planning one too, which should be before all those. The Silkies hike again. Yep, there we go. So the special planning one update for this one is the kickstand time. Kickstands up is at 11 now because they're going to do the national anthem and everything first. So first it was set for 10, but now to give time for everybody to get there, set up, and be able to do the anthem. They really do a great job of honoring Matt Bellini's his remembrance and his legacy, and they do a great job honoring the folks that come out and are on this ride, first responders, military members, veterans, supporters, and just taking care of the community as a whole. Like I said, there's a little bit of something for everybody, whether it's the bounce houses and stuff for the kids. They've got great food every time they're there, and it's all free. Comes with the price of admission. If you don't want to ride, you can just show up as a attendee afterwards or before, and hang out with guys like me that'll be sitting there while they go out on the ride around, and then we welcome them back. And it's just
Awesome.
a good event during the day to enjoy and to be a part of.
Awesome. So we're gonna be back here. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here first. So we're like 99% sure you're gonna come back here next Thursday night at 7 p.m. We'll be here a full hour. We'll have this set up, and then we'll go right into Oscar Mike Radio. And this should make things better, because if the commuter rail has a problem like it did the other night where it caught fire, not my train but the train beforehand, you're just sitting there at the train's mercy. So
And there's nothing you can do either. You can't Uber, you can't Lyft because everybody else is sitting there trying to do the same thing. That is at the next train stop or the one behind. They're like, well, nothing's moving, so they're trying to get all the Lyfts and Ubers. So it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. She's just kind of like in a holding pattern.
So we want to try this out. I'm like, this is great. This just flows. I'm here. So we'll start making this a thing. And sometimes you got to be Semper Gumby, and that's what we are. And if you're resilient too, you got to be flexible. You got to, if something doesn't work, you got to zig the other way. So um, really happy tonight. I am going to. My computer's getting ready to reboot, Mike. So I saw the notification come up. I'm like, darn. So we'll do that too. But hey, you've got some information now. Check out the Lego ride from American Legion Post 435. Check out all the Pact Act information. Hit Mikey or me up if you need some help getting your filing done. We'll move heaven and earth. Check out all these other great events, and we will see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. We are resilient. We are war.
And did you want to let them know what's coming up on Oscar Mike?
Oh, yeah. Thanks again, Mikey. Tonight I've got Carol Harris, retired U.S. Marine Corps retired Lieutenant Colonel, coming on to talk about his role at the U.S. Postal Inspection Service in Los Angeles and how Operation Protect Vet can protect our veterans from being scammed from their hard-won benefits.
Excellent. Look forward to it.
All right. We're going to sign off. I'm going to reboot my computer, and we'll be back on 30 minutes with Oscar Mike Radio.
See you guys. Good night.